Hi, this is Larry Greenblatt with a very special update from the Federation. If anybody's concerned about quantum computing and the threat they have to our internet, well, good news. The Federation has spoken, and NIST on July 5th has selected their quantum resistant protocols. Yay! Nothing, no need to worry. So, all right. So, if you enjoy these little videos, please contribute. We can always use some money, and I hear it's a great deal. So also, please know my goal is always to collaborate with everybody. You know, we're moving from a world of scarcity to a time of abundance, and Peter Dumanis does a great, much better job than I do of this. But basically, if there's not enough to go around, and we need to compete for limited resources, we're gonna have to sometimes, not share information. In fact, sometimes people lie. When when the Eagles play Dallas, they might fake a run and actually throw the ball, and they're heavily biased. The information is not there to share for everybody. It's actually just to help this place compete with that. And sometimes, of course, competition drives innovation, but when there's not enough water around, some people might die. But when there is enough, see, the mountain, the valley people might compete if there's only a limited water, and the mountain people will find, some really obvious reasons why you don't have to fight fair. They're low lives, and the valley people also fight and to get that water. Their lives depend on it, and they also find valid reasons why they don't need to be honest with the mountain people. The mountain people think they're so high and mighty, but when there's enough, and as we do, today we have enough to go around. When I was a kid, if you spread all the world's wealth around, we'd all be poor. But we're moving to a time where there's enough to go around, and then we can collaborate and do a lot more, and it's great, And so now maybe the mountain people make the best jelly, and the peanut butter have the best peanut butter, or excuse me, the valley people have the best peanut butter. So information security, we know, is about confidentiality, integrity, and availability. We're going to do some availability in the cloud and in my other classes. So that part's solved, let's say. But as far as confidentiality versus integrity goes, the quantum computing algorithms for confidentiality that we're worried about are like our key agreement protocols, something like a Diffie-Hellman or RSA, elliptical curve, DH, or whatever. And then but the integrity algorithms are our signing algorithms. Like blockchain stuff, right? Bitcoin uses ECDSA, and that's vulnerable to Shore's algorithm. Let's see what that means. But that's Crystal's dilithium. So the one is going to maybe secure the new blockchain protocols. Crystal's dilithium, and anyone knows I'm a big Star Trek fan, so very cool. Yeah, and like a Star Trek fan, I like to point out, in a time of collaboration, we don't treat some people differently. No, we're going to share information. We want to make sure that we treat each other equally, from Afghanistan to Zimbabwe, right? And that's the goal here. So it's the IL-2 algorithms that are threatened. It's not the AES is not going to be broken. That's the key you use to lock up the safe, but what do you, what you can't do? Put the key to the safe in the safe. So the real challenge, and like I said, Diffie-Hellman, it was a key encrypting key. So RSA can do that. Elliptical curve, Diffie-Hellman can do that. And these are threatened. So, I don't care how strong the lock is. If you think I'm the boss, you'll give me the key. And that's what happens, right? So the IL-2 are your identity management. I want to make sure only Bob gets the key to the safe. And Shore's algorithm or quantum computing might threaten that capability. Blockchain is built on something else. You think of integrity or hashing algorithm. That's like the wax seal to make sure it wasn't, damaged in shipping. But, what really gave the value of the wax seal was that it was authenticated with the king's actual stamp. And that's your signing algorithm. That's the king's stamp, and so again, it's an identity. You might think it came from Bob when it didn't. So that's Crystal's dilithium. So Crystal's Kyber is going to replace your Diffie-Hellman. It's the thing to make sure only Bob gets the AES key to the safe. And Crystal's dilithium is going to replace our signing rhythms, our signing algorithms, RSA and elliptical curve, DSA, and stuff like that. And that's to make sure that the hashes actually came from. Right. So that's really where our blockchain, we take the Bitcoin white paper and just replace ECDSA with Crystal's dilithium. All right. So quantum computing, you can read all kinds of stuff. Basically, I'm not going to deal with the entanglement thing. Let's just look at the math part of each qubit. So instead of a classical bit, each bit is worth either 1 or 0. And so if I have 2 bits, it's, 2 to the n, I would have 4, 2 to the 8 is 256, blah, blah, blah. But with quantum properties, and we look at what's called a superposition, so each qubit could have 3 to the n. So, instead of like 8 bits being 256, it'd be ridiculous. So by the time you got 49 bits, you would have what's established as quantum supremacy. And that was, I think, 2017 term. And anyway, NIST started working on that in 2017. And they've had the shootout. They went into round 4 and they finally figured it out. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So Peter Shore is a guy who says, if this woodchuck could chuckle it, if quantum computing does deliver on its promises, then we will be able to reverse the so-called one way. And very simple RSA, for instance, it's easier to multiply than it is to divide. It's just a lot more process steps to do that. But with quantum computing, Peter Shore said that's not necessarily true. And I think most people agree that he's right. So NIST finalized their selection on July 5th of this year. It's very cool. And again, the key encrypting key, the KEK they might call it, but is Crystal's Kyber. Now it says it's a public key encryption too. So it's not just key establishment. Now you're not encrypting data yet. I don't know that we're ever going to do that, but it's not just keys. I might encrypt other like social security numbers or something like that, some other authentication code. But the big signing algorithm is crystal dilithium. And again, this is what blockchain is built on. Blockchain is not naively built there for confidentiality. It's for integrity, right? So we're going to have a history book that will not be easily tampered with. So that's very cool. I just wanted to bring that to you. I love it. Star Trek fans. And I hope, like any good collaborator, any ISO thing, my goal is to help everybody without hurting anyone. So I hope you found that useful. All right. Thank you very much. Live long and prosper.